stand back and look at your work. I'm looking at whatever's playing in TV here. When that's buffed out, boy, there is nothing like black. But again, that trick that we learned about the 1500, I mean, look at the difference between this wing. Yeah, and that's a whole afternoon of buffing there. I really took my time, got in all the corners and edges, but boy, I think you can just pretty much watch TV right in the wing there. That really made me happy. I'm really happy with the way that came out. Now the trouble is, Chicky didn't do this wing while I was waiting, so I got another day of fooling around, another night. I don't know if Karen's going to go to class tomorrow, but we got a whole nother day. But you know what? When I think about stuff like this, and I just think a year from now or 2 years from now, nobody will ever remember. I won't even remember about this extra day it took to buff this out. That's really going to be nice. I think that really ups the bar for me some. Look at this. I'm looking at, is that Midgley on TV? Yeah, it is Midgley. Look at this. You can watch TV in the mirror. That is so cool. Anyway, just so you're sharing the ride with me here, before we're going to buff this out for sure, before I go any further or do any of the assembly or final assembly of the model. Wrongfully so, that while I was buffing the outer panel, he would buff the inner panel. Didn't happen. Now he's hiding. He's behind the DVD players over there. Chicky! I'm not kidding, Chicky. Come out! Oh, there he is. Get over there and buff, Gorham's bird. The buffing operation at last. And just looking at it in this, sitting on the table here, I'm going to have myself a cup of coffee before I go on with the next step of this. It is absolutely, that black just blows me away. Top, bottom, nacelles, every part of this just exceeded my wildest expectations. Labor intensive, but one of the things in life that I think is, for me anyway, well worthwhile. That finish, now for all the time I own this model and fly it and touch it, and that'll always be with me. And if I sat and watched Oprah for those hours or some other nonsense, you wouldn't have that nice finish. So kind of happy with it. Not kind of, I'm really happy. I'm looking forward to starting to get the rest of the project. There's a lot of little details to do yet, but today we finished that and I really feel great. And then we'll come back in and or maybe we'll do it all at once and finish the hinging up today. Now if we finish the hinging, also another thing that's been brought up as a good idea, and I think I'm going to do this, is when we actually do the bench trimming, I'm going to make up a new updated flight trim video, which the subscribers will just get because it's going to be part of this set of videos. But it would also apply all of the things that we've learned in the last, I guess it's been a few years since we made an updated flight trim video, and if you're a subscriber, that of course is going to be one of the tapes in this set. Anyway, get busy. Let's get busy. Looking forward to his brother George and Father Regis on it. I'm going to mail that to him. I really hope that somewhere he'll find a place for that, a place of honor in his shop. Now for sure, these are two people we'll never forget. My very good late friend, Father Regis Rhoda, who I'll never forget his prayers he said for my mom while she was in her last years of life. And John Brodak's brother, Joe Brodak, who both passed away in a very short amount of time in the time we were building the A26. And now that the A26 is, well, we're not going to repair it, that's for sure. But I thought John Brodak or Buzz would like to have this somewhere in his collection. To me it would be something, and I do have other memorabilia from the Typhoon. I have the thing with Harold Price. Some of the people that I've chosen to honor as, it's just my own personal little thing. It's really not something you can share with a lot of people. A lot of people don't care. Or I have put about, and I estimate somewhere about 600 hours of my life into each one of these bombers. And I like to see one little piece of it live on. But one of the things we have all the flights, especially that flight where it's flying in the fog. Boy, if it, years from now, I'll remember that flight, and I'll just remember flying in and out of the fog like it was on a Bomber Command mission in England or something. But anyway, I originally wanted to have a picture. I have a picture here, but not a Will Hubin picture. I needed a Will Hubin picture. I was going to mount this somehow, and I said, I don't know what John would like to do with it, so what I thought I'd do is just pass it on to John and let Buzz and John figure out what would be an appropriate way to save this or use it. Larry Scarinzi gave me that picture this year. And it's funny, when he was at the house, the Typhoon was still being worked on, and before we had that line break. But I had donated, or dedicated, whatever, donated's not the right word, dedicated this plane to Harold Price, and I think a fitting, well, maybe when I'm gone, somebody will dedicate a plane to me. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody will. Anyway. And of course, this year's plane, the Tiger Cat, is dedicated to Bob Palmer, who passed away during the construction of the plane. One of the people I really, really respected as a legend, and he is truly one of the most popular people in the world of stunt. A great contributor, a great gentleman in every way you can be. And I hope he's honored in his own way by being the pilot of the Tiger Cat for as many flights as we get of it. Now, I guess the way I always will remember the A-26, this flight, more than anything else, this was a warm-up flight at the Nats, and it was early in the morning and the fog was rolling in. Like, this is one of the flights on the Memories tape. And we had just taken it out of the car trying to get him, you know, a typical trim flight or whatever. And I remember thinking, wow, it's looking like it's going in and out of the clouds. Even while I was flying it, it was eerie. It was kind of surreal. It was one of the things that, well, when something is gone or when people die, you have to have a way of remembering them. And in my case, it's a big part of my life gets tied up in these model airplanes. And I always pick something about them that I like and something pleasant to remember. I remember thinking, well, we got to fly in the wind that day that they canceled the Nats. And we got our pattern in, and then they canceled the Nats, but kind of proving that we could get these big twins flying. And it's just so much fun flying them. I can't wait to see Paul Winters fly. There's guys in California building one, or two. Tom McLean's building a big Marauder. A lot of guys have kind of taken up on this challenge, and I have really found it to be fun. But this is the way I'll always want to remember this plane. And it really was eerie. The first day I came down, had my coffee, looked over in the bomber rack, and I'd always look over there for a little inspiration. And I looked over there, and there was the empty parking spot. So I hope John will find some way of nailing this to his shop wall or whatever. And we have the video that'll keep it fresh in our mind forever, and for all the other people that enjoy this kind of a challenge, enjoy the interaction we all share with these planes. I wanted to try these control ratios that we worked on yesterday. I took one flight with the elevators moving, oh, I'd say it's probably more like a 3-to-2 hookup, pretty much what a Thunderbird is. And what's happened is that the amount of turn has increased so much that I'm going to have to shrink the handle down. That's number one. Now, number two, the exhaust extensions that I improvised, and their outlet is 375. At 375, it seemed really close to what it should be. Maybe sleeve down a little more, it could get a little quieter, but 375 is real close to what it should be. Second rod. Now, luckily, the way that back end came apart, it's very easy. You don't have to get soldering irons up in there or anything. The back end comes apart relatively easily. You can get a precision hole drilled, and you can do it all in a very convenient way.